Normally you hear me about me documenting my journey, about failing my way in public to success, but there's a big inspiration that I get, and that's in football management. And I think there's such a correlation between football leadership management and business leadership and management. And it's the big reason why people bring in Sir Alex Ferguson and Jose Mourinho into their businesses to speak about how football leadership can make them better at the jobs they're doing. So I wanted to make a podcast of this, and I brought one of my best friends onto the show, and we're going to be speaking about football management, football leadership, and really just chewing the fat, really. And I think it'll be something you guys will enjoy. So let me bring him onto the show now. Ashley, do you want to say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone. Ashley here. Mark's one of my oldest friends, and I'm glad finally he's doing this now.
Awesome. Now, you know, we do talk about football, we do talk about management, and Ashley is actually a business owner himself. He's a mad United fan. I've told him that he cannot be too pro United in this. He has to be quite open to it, and he's agreed to do that. So I appreciate that, Ash. But with this, we're going to be talking about different topics that are going up week in, week out in football, and how we feel that football leadership can help businesses. And at the end of the day, we're going to have a chat, have a discussion. And I think it's the same discussions that you have in the coffee shops, after matches, during matches, on TalkSport. Everything we're going to talk about, you guys can relate to. And if it's anything like TalkSport, you'll be calling in saying, we disagree with this and we don't like this. So we've got a few things to talk about today. And I'm going to hit the ground running right now. And what I want to ask, I'm going to ask Ashley some questions. We're going to have a bit of back and forth with it. And during this show, if people want to comment, come in with questions, they can do. There's going to be a live of this. There's going to be a recording. So let me know your comments and we'll try and get to your questions. But the first question I want to ask Ash is, who would you have as your ideal manager for your club and why?
I thought about this question, and taking in consideration the current managers out there, for me, it will be Jurgen Klopp. I've followed his career at Dortmund. There's something very special about him. I love his man management, and he's a man that knows what he wants, and he's been very successful. He's definitely my ideal manager.
So I think that if we kind of be specific here, with you being a United fan, do you think that he could have taken over from Fergie and done something with it then?
I'm not saying like I knew all the answers as a United fan, but when Fergie left, he was the one that any United fan who studies managers around at the time, he was the one everyone wanted. He was the next best thing. He was doing amazing stuff at Dortmund, and no one saw from what he'd done at Dortmund that year, where it all went crazy and fell apart at Dortmund, that he would become available. And fair play to Liverpool, they pounced straight away and they got him.
So what do you think so special about him then, in regards to management?
His passion, his man management. He does a lot of things that some managers wouldn't do. I mean, I read somewhere, I don't know how true it is, he's got a psychology degree, very high up in Germany. There was one particular thing he done after a game where Liverpool drew and they scored in the last minute, and he made all the players hold their hands and go up to the fans. And one thing he does very well, he creates a connection with the fans, which is a massive thing with Liverpool, the fans and the players.
Yeah.
And that's why, until recently, they've had a very, very successful home record. So
do you think he would have got more time than David Moyes then?
100%. I think he would have been a lot more successful. But I don't want to go into the details too much, but there is a lot of leaked information where he looked at Manchester United, he had a meeting with Woodward, and it's more run as a business than a football club. And that's why he chose against it, because apparently he was approached.
So, I mean, that's quite interesting, isn't it? I mean, you can have very successful people, but if their ethos, their way of trying to run things doesn't match with the top management, then they don't want to work there.
100%.
Yeah. No, and again, like that's, you see, there's the correlation there. I mean, if you go in for an interview and you meet the manager or the director of the company and things don't match up, and you're not thinking that they're ethical, the way that they see the vision, you know, everyone says, what's your 5-year plan? And his one probably was very different to what United's one was. They were probably looking at more merchandise and social media.
Yeah, and he has been backed with whatever he's wanted. And at United, I know, obviously, I'm a United fan, I'm comparing, but I'm sure there's other clubs to compare it to.
Yeah.
Were the managers at United really backed? I know we spent a lot of money and everything else, but were they really backed? Did they go into an interview, got promised something, then it weren't delivered? Whereas at Liverpool, everything he asked for, he got. He wanted Mo Salah. He wanted Van Dijk. Everyone said he was crazy when he spent 75 million on Van Dijk. It's now turned out one of the best signings in Premier League history.
Alisson as well.
Alisson, another great keeper.
Yeah.
A bit poor of lately, going through a blip.
Yeah. You can give him a few weeks off, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think the big word here is like project. You know, and if you look at Chelsea, for example, you know, Frank Lampard was given a project, but Abramovich wouldn't see it through. Like, we lost a few games and that's when it was over. So I think Liverpool gave him this time to have this project. Remember, they finished 7th, they finished 8th. They didn't have anything really. I mean, I think they did okay in the cups, but they weren't doing well in the Premier League for the first couple of years.
No, couple of years, no, not at all.
And he was given the time, but you know, Moyes, he wasn't given that, and then Van Gaal wasn't given that. And you see it so often with clubs now. They promise these projects, and it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's a word I don't really like anymore, and it comes down to, you know, how good a manager you are. All right, you have a project. Yes, of course you have a project, but at the end of the day, it's about getting results. And you know, through that project, you have to get some form of results. And you know, the managers at United, yes, we're in a project. I don't even like the word project. It should be, yes, I've come in. This is what I want to set out and do. And this is what I'm going to do. That's what Klopp said. He'll win the title in 5 years. Some people laughed.
Yeah.
You know, other managers like Mourinho come in. It's a project. The most time that word we used was with Van Gaal. And after 2 years of Van Gaal watching the most boring football, okay, he won a trophy, but, you know, he just won an FA Cup. He finished 5th and then he's fired. So, and then we get in Mourinho, another guy with another project who wants to buy all these players. But like you say, you know, he's gone in for an interview and he's probably been promised something and then the club haven't delivered. Like the last season he was there, he was very open about, we're not good enough, we need this, we need that. And, you know, since he's left, he's quite openly come out and said, you know, he took Fred for the sake of it. He didn't want him, but that's all he was offered.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, you know, when you speak to companies and they talk about bums on seats, you know, just fill the seats up. If it doesn't work out, we'll get rid of them. It doesn't matter, especially in sales that happens. And I think, you know, in management, you've got to wait for those right sort of people that are going to fit in that role. And I think that's the great thing about Liverpool. I mean, if you look at Henderson, for example, I know Fergie spoke quite highly of him. He come out with something a little while ago, but for God knows how many years, people were saying Henderson shouldn't even be wearing a Liverpool shirt. But he fits that role. He fits where it needs to be. And he makes the rest of the team tick.
Yeah, it's fun. That, and again, it's down to management. Klopp has a system that it has to adapt to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't adapt to the players. So he's made players that weren't that successful, i.e. Mo Salah. He was a reject at Chelsea, let's be honest.
Yeah.
They got rid of him.
Yeah.
He went to Roma, done well. He's come to the Premier League and he's been absolutely unbelievable because he fits that system. He's made Wijnaldum from Newcastle, Henderson as well, you know, a player that was doubted. He's made him look amazing. And then it's down to the players.
Robertson from Hull for 10 million.
What a buy. Robertson, yeah. Trent Alexander-Arnold. It all fits into his system.
Yeah.
And he makes them better than what they are. And it'll be interesting to see if Mo Salah, Mane, if they leave, how well they will do at another club.
Yeah. I think you're seeing it now. I mean, they're getting a little bit exhausted. It's hard to perform like that 100 and something % for like 3-4 years in a row. I mean, it's expected now, really. But
it's not possible.
Let's save that little discussion there. Let's move on to something else here now. And he's somebody who I spoke about a little while ago. Did a whole video on it about how he's come in and he's instilled this belief in a football team that didn't have it before, and he might have turned them into believers now. And his name is, I'm going to pronounce this right this time because I got stick for it last time, Jose Mourinho. Do you
not
feel, Jose, yeah. Does Jose's season measure on winning the Carabao Cup, and how does he get the team believing that they can win it after losing 3-0 to City?
The problem is winning the trophy is very, very important, and Tottenham fans would love a trophy. But the bottom line is football is more heading towards a business now, and Tottenham has spent all this money on this stadium. Top four is more important. They want to be in the Champions League. Mourinho was brought in to, stability and get them back into the Champions League. So he didn't do it last year because, for whatever reason, coming late, whatever. But, if he can't get them in the Champions League this year, then he hasn't done a great management job. And if you look at his management skills as well, have they slightly changed to accommodate the new sort of player where, a lot of players are very delicate, a bit like snowflakes in a way, where you have to put an arm around them, you have to be nice to them, you can't be hard with them anymore. They're not the John Terrys and the Frank Lampards and the Roy Keanes. They're delicate individuals. And you're seeing it play out with Dele Alli now. Dele Alli can't get anywhere near that team. And everyone's saying, I'll put an arm around him. But what is Mourinho doing? Surely he needs someone like Dele Alli to come in that team and push him up the table.
Well, he was the player that got away from United, wasn't he? I mean, he beat you guys, 3-1 was it? In the Carabao Cup.
What, MK Dons?
MK Dons, yeah. And normally, I mean, if that was Ferguson, you would have got him after a game like that. Same with Ronaldo, wasn't it? He played against you, I think, in the Champions League. And straight away, you went and signed him.
Played against us in a friendly, Sporting Lisbon, 2003.
Yeah.
That was just, that was special.
That was fun. I think
I remember
we'll save Ronaldo for a whole other episode here.
Yeah, of course.
Ashley, if you didn't know, gets a bit excited about Ronaldo, but we'll save that for another time. But,
I'll take his poster down.
I was so when I watched that Amazon documentary, and then when Spurs started to do well this season, I was like, is he actually going to do something here? Is he actually going to do something?
Yeah.
But I think I talk about this a lot. It's the confidence and belief. If you can instill confidence and belief in somebody, they'll go through walls. And I just don't think, Spurs are so Spursy. And I just don't know if he has that in him to get them to win something. But they have to win something to believe. It's like a catch-22. Yeah. They have to win it to start believing they can do something.
Yeah, I completely agree. And his career's on the line, as a manager that's been around for the last 18 years when he was at Porto.
Yeah.
His last 2 jobs, he'll look at them as success, but Spurs job come out of nowhere, and it's a massive thing for him to be the Spurs manager. And there's a lot of expectation, and he's going to need to start delivering. I got a feeling if you don't get in top 4, they'll all say goodbye.
Well, they're talking about it costing them 40 million or something, 40 million euros to get rid of him because there's no break clause.
Yeah, I don't know about in and out of contracts, but he must have negotiated well. But Daniel Levy, as we all know, is the best negotiator out there. I'm sure he'll have a clause in there to say no Champions League, no payout. I
think it suited both clubs. I think it suited both people at the time, like Spurs. They needed someone to come in, the special Jose, and then Jose would never have taken that job 5, 6, 7 years ago because he was way above Spurs. But this was his 100%. Chance to kind of get things back. But you can't just be a team of Harry Kanes. Like they need more than that.
Yeah, and he needs to get them playing better. I know people say he's defensive, but he has enough attacking players to kill teams off. And you speak to any Spurs fan, they're getting fed up with the game against Wolves. They're 1-0 up, they end up drawing. And it's happened 2 or 3 times, and they need to kill games off. Spurs have got a lot of good players there, a lot of good players, and they should be challenging for top 4. So, yeah, no.
They're not a million miles off. They still could do it. But I've always said this about Jose's teams, right? Chelsea, 04-05, if we went 1-0 up, no one was scoring against us. Yeah?
Yeah.
05-06, same thing again. And like that was the way it was. But then after that, I don't think Jose's teams have ever protected a 1-0 lead. United used to let so many goals in from going 1-0 up when he was there. And I just think this whole idea of 1-0 up, Spurs, like Jose defend, it can't happen anymore. There's too many good strikers out. There's too much good aggressive play from other teams. You've got to keep scoring.
Yeah, and also a lot of the lesser teams like your Burnleys, your Wolves, your Crystal Palace, they spend a lot of money. They've got like 30-40 million pound players in their squad. So they're getting better and better players in. Obviously nowhere near as good as the top 4, etc. But enough quality players in that if you have an off day like a Chelsea, a Man U or a Liverpool, there's enough quality there to beat a top side. And that's why everyone loves the Premier League, because it's so open. The top can easily lose to the bottom. As we saw with Man United against Sheffield United, no one in a million years saw that coming. No. And there it is, bottom beating top.
Yeah. No, like one player that really stands out for me, I know we're meant to be talking management here, but Danny Ings for Southampton.
Yes.
I just think he's so good. I mean, it's just a shame he gets injured so often, but if you need a goal, he's going to get you it. So if you're trying to keep a 1-0 lead against Southampton, you've got someone of a threat like that, what are you going to do? You can't defend that.
No, he's amazing. And when you talk about like managers having influence on players, he's like a captain that has an influence on the players because he brings energy to the team. So when he's running around, then everyone else will be like, well, I better run around. I better close that defender down. He brings a lot of energy, and he's a great leader as well. And when he plays, they generally do very well. And, he's also an inspiration to anyone who's been injured, because he's had 2 massive knee injuries, I think both ACLs, and he's come back strong.
Yeah, that's very true. I think that, I'm trying to get someone on the show really that's had that sort of that's had that accident or that tackle or that mishap, and they've come back strong from it. If Danny Ings is listening, I'd love to get you on the show. But with Jose, I mean, do you think it hangs in the balance? Like, how do you get the team believing after losing 3-0 that they can win this final then?
How does he get a team believing? How can they win a final against a team like Man City, who are absolutely formidable, and defensively they're unbelievable this season?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look, this is why he's paid like 20 million euros, 20 million pounds a year, to solve these problems. But at the moment, he's not. And as weeks go by, there's less and less games, and they're getting further away from the top 4.
Yeah,
he has got. I think they've got a lot of games coming in the next. I think in the next month, when he's played all these games, the UEFA, the Carabao Cup, you'll know exactly where Tottenham will be. And if they lose a Carabao Cup and they don't do well in the UEFA and they're not winning in the league, it's season over. What have they got to play for?
Exactly. So let's move on now. Let's go on to a manager that you said is a guy that you'd have leading your team.
Yeah.
Now, this is Jurgen Klopp. Now, with the unbelievable season Liverpool had last year, incredible.
2 years. 2 years.
2 years, sorry, 2 years. They've now had injuries left, right, and centre to some of their top players. Do you think that's a big enough excuse for them not winning the league this year? The fact they've had these injuries.
100%. Because let's compare it to. There's a couple of arguments here. Let's compare it to Man City. So Man City, that year, the last year they won the league, they lost company, and Laporta was injured for the whole year. And look what happened to them. They finished second, but not really close to to Liverpool. Liverpool are without Van Dijk and Gomez. They're two best central defenders. You tell me any team in this league now, if their two best central defenders are out for the season, and you can't really buy anyone because, you know, we're in a pandemic, COVID, you can't really be seen as a club spending 80 million on a player. And plus, you probably haven't got the money to do it. So, you know, I still think they're doing really well for where they are. They're still winning games. They're still up there in the top 4, but losing both those players has had a huge impact. And also the intensity is my second point. You saw it with Man City. They had 2 years winning the league. It got to the third year. It was too much. They had to change a few players. Yeah. And now it's the same with Liverpool. Keeping that intensity up is really, really difficult in any league.
So do you think if Chelsea would have had those last 2 years, Champions League, Premier League, and then we would have had injuries like now, do you reckon if Jurgen was in that job, do you reckon he would have been gone by now as a Chelsea owner with a manager?
If the directors understand football and they look at what the manager is doing and they see he's in the top 4, but not challenging for the title, they probably would accept it. Yeah. Can you imagine, you go on about the 203, 204 season? Like, imagine you had Terry Carvalho just won the league, then next year, both injured, both out. That is your 2 leaders.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. I mean, but Di Matteo won the Champions League. He won the Champions League and then he was gone the next season.
Yeah, he won the Champions League, but listen, I know you're a Chelsea fan, but let's be honest. I watched all the games leading up to it. It was a mixture between the players and the will to do it because it was their last chance and a bit of management. And did he get enough time? Probably not. But how you won that Champions League in Miracle. Germany when you got battered was unbelievable. And that is spirit. That is, all right, yeah, you can say it's a bit of management, but also leadership as well from like Gary Cahill that day was immense.
Yeah.
You need leaders in the team, sub-leaders, as well as the manager.
I mean, if you look at that Torres, if you look at that team that we had and you look back now, you think that wasn't even a good team. And somehow Ramirez, who was the Portuguese guy with the weird hair who played with the tattoos? Can't remember his name now.
Quaresma.
No, not Quaresma. I can't remember his name now. I mean, you just think of these players and you just think, how did we even win it? But we even had the Champions League final wasn't even the one. I think we were 2-0 down to Napoli, I think, in the quarters. And we ended up coming back winning that. And then the Torres orgasm. Oh, Torres!
Oh, that's brilliant commentary.
In the semis, that was absolutely brilliant. And then Drogba, header, boom, done. He's done it. And then he
scores the penalty.
Yeah, but let's go back. Di Matteo came in because AVB dropped Lampard, got rid of him, and like pretty much said Drogba's out, and got rid of these big key players because supposedly they had the egos and he wanted to come in and kind of, leave his mark on there. So that's interesting, for that to happen, you need people around you that are going to support you. And I had a meeting today.
You need leaders.
Yeah, but I had a meeting today and they said to me, look, there's somebody at this event that's going to have 40 years experience and there's people that are going to have 5 minutes experience. How are you going to cope with the difference? And I said, I'm going to get the people with 40 years experience involved. They need to be the people. Yeah. Like, I'm there to learn from them, get them involved. I'm running the thing, but still I need them. So that's what should have happened with Lampard, Drogba. You bring them in, you say, we've got a couple of seasons left here. Let's make the most out of it. You're everything this team should be. Let's work on this together.
I agree. And look, they come back in. They're the leaders. Drogba, Lampard, Terry. They come back in and look, they go on and win it.
Exactly. Right. We've got one last question here.
Oh, this is tough.
And what I want to do, I want to do a little thing each week where we're kind of deciding not the best manager of the week, but the best managerial decision of the week.
Okay.
Yeah. So what are you going to go with? So
Look,
from all the games
tough.
on the week, what have you seen that's been like, that's a great decision the manager made there?
I'll be honest, I struggle with this. I've got two, and they're very similar. One is Arteta bringing Aubameyang in at the right time, because I don't think he played before for a few weeks. The right time, with everything personally he's gone through, to come in, score a hat-trick. And
Nice.
the second one is Scott Parker bringing in this guy who's not played before, started him, and he's gone on and scored 2 goals. They beat Everton away. For me, I would give it to Scott Parker.
Okay, fair enough. That's your decision. So do you think Fulham are going to stay up then?
Again, he's a good guy, Scott Parker. He's someone you want to do well, and he knows what he's doing. And Fulham do play good football. Can they stay up? Yeah, I think they can out of the 3.
Okay, so who's going down?
Oh God, West Brom. Oh God, I need to look at the league table. West Brom,
Sheffield United,
and it's going to be a toss-up between Fulham and Newcastle.
So do you think Sam Allardyce is going to lose his 100% record of keeping teams up then?
Yeah, they look. He's drawn a couple of games. He needs wins. Like should have beaten United.
Yeah.
Because you're running out of games. You're on 23 games, so you've got 15 games left. And if you're a team that's not winning, 3 out of 5 games, you're winning 1 out of 6. You need to start winning regularly and beating the teams around you as well.
Nice. All right, one last question here. Where would Fergie finish in the league now?
Right now, with that team, second.
A million miles off, or running them close?
Within about 8 points.
Within about 8 points. All right. Okay. Well, guys, this was the first of many shows we're going to do. We're going to be switching things up a little bit. Comment, let us know what you think's worked, what's not worked. If you think we're just talking a load of BS, let's get some chat going here, because the one thing about football is everyone has an opinion, and I want to hear what your opinions are. So, should Jurgen Klopp be given the time? Does Jose or Jose's season rest on the Carabao Cup? Who's been the managerial decision of the week? And who would your ideal manager be for your club? Comment and let us know. But Ash, thanks a lot. I'll be seeing you next week for another show.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Quality. I'll see you soon.
Take care, and I will see you next week.
See you soon. Bye-bye.